Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about the skills review. There's a little bit on this review that I wanted to go over with you before you started. The first part of this, you are going to need your factor charts. So they look like this. I will make sure I have a pile of those in the room with some direction. I need to get those back because they have, they need these for everybody else. So you're going to get this front side that goes up to, I think, 50. And I believe the back has maybe some negatives on it. But it'll look something like this. What it does is it shows you all the numbers that multiply together to be any given number. All right. So on this worksheet here, you're going to see at the top, skill one is just adding and subtracting and then multiplying positive and negative numbers. So go ahead and do that. Make sure you're thinking about, is it addition? Is it subtraction? Is it multiplication? What actually operation are you doing? And then go ahead and do those. Number lines there for you. And then skill two is the one I really want to talk about with you. So skill two is all about factors. And so first question is just what is a factor? And so a factor is a number that goes into another number a whole number of times. And so I'm going to go ahead and flip over to the factor chart here for a second. If you need to pause the video to get that written down, that's fine. But a factor chart here will kind of show you what we're talking about. So if I'm looking at the number 18 here, you can see the factors of 18 are 1 and 18 because 1 times 18 is 18. 2 and 9 because 2 times 9 is 18. And then 3 and 6 because 3 times 6 is 18. So all 6 of those numbers, 1, 18, 2, 9, 3, and 6, are all factors of 18. The next thing we got here is the greatest common factor. So it is the biggest number that goes into both. I don't want to word that. The biggest number that goes into both. Biggest number that goes into two different numbers. So you'll see here what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and look at the numbers 12 and the number 18. So 12 and 18, we're going to go ahead and list out the positive factors. As always, it would be a really good thing to try to practice doing some of this without going straight to the chart because, not having that chart in front of you always is good to work on that number sense. But if I think about things that make 12, well, 1 and 12 is probably the first thing that comes to mind, right? 1 times 12 is 12. Maybe 2 times 6. 2 times 6 is 12. And 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. And then 18, we just looked at those on our factor chart. See, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. So I'm listing them in the way that like 1 times 18 is 18, 2 times 9 is 18, and 3 times 6 is 18. Now, when we go to find the greatest common factor of 12 and 18, that's how we would say it, the greatest common factor of 12 and 18, I want the biggest number that goes into both of them. So when I look at this, I can see, well, 1 is a common factor, 2 is a common factor, 3 is a common factor, 4 is not, there's only 4 here, 6 is a common factor, 12 is not. So the biggest number that goes into both is 6. That's my greatest common factor, or my GCF, greatest common factor. So what I want you to do right now is to go ahead and try this second one out, right? List the 8 positive factors of 30, list the 10 positive factors of 48, and then find the greatest common factor. Pause the video, we'll talk about that, and then you can go over that. Okay, so if I'm listing my positive factors of 30, there's 8 of them. I always start with like 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, and then 5 and 6 are my last ones. And then for 48, I've got 1 and 48, I've got 2 and 24, 3 and I believe 16. I should check that on my list. 4 and 12, and then 6 and 8. So those are my positive factors of 48. If you don't know all of those off the top of your head, they're right here. So 48, I've got them listed right there. And then for, what was the other one? For 30, pull it further up, right there. So 8 positive factors of 30. So then we're looking at just what's the greatest common factor. I just have to go through my list and find the biggest one. So 30 doesn't go into the other one, 15 doesn't go into the other one, 10 doesn't go into the other one, 6. 6 goes into both. So it looks like 6 is my greatest common factor between 48 and 30. And then for the rest of these, you're going to do the same kind of thing. You're going to find the biggest common factor that goes into both of them. And so if I'm looking at 11 and 44, I'm going to go to my chart here, and I'm going to look at my positive factors of 11 and see, oh, well, 1 and 11. And I go to 44, and I see, well, 1, that's in common. 11 is in common. Well, 11 is the biggest one of those. So I know that it is 11. When I'm looking at negative numbers, what you want to think about is, well, if to get a negative 11, it's negative 1 times 11, or 1 times negative 11. Well, I still have that same positive factor that I would have in 11, and same thing with 44. Negative 44 is still going to have the same factors as 44. It's just also going to have those negative ones as well. So 11 is still going to be my greatest common factor of negative 11 and negative 44. So go ahead and try those. What you're going to notice here when you get done with those, check. I have the answer key provided for you. And then on the back, you've got practice from the last quiz, basically, the last test. So it's multiplying monomials, distributing, and FOILing. And then a little bit of stuff in the middle here about using mental math to find the numbers that are going to add to something and multiply to something. And we talked about that yesterday in class. So work on that today. If you get done with that and you have extra time, CFUs are going to be a really good thing to do. Maybe look back at yesterday's work, and I will see you tomorrow.